Hey everybody, welcome to Strength Coach TV. I'm Anthony Renda. This is the show where we take you inside some of the country's best fitness facilities, give you a tour, and then we sit down with the owners and we talk a little bit of shop. Today we head out to Massapequa Park to AMP Training and Chris Cooper. What I like about this place is two things. It's only 2,000 square feet, and they didn't start out with 2,000. They started out with a lot less than that. I think it was about 1,000 square feet, and they're doing they've grown mostly on one-on-one personal training. So two things that people tell you can't do, right? You can't start out so small, it's too small of a place, and you're supposed to be doing semi-private training and group training, and they've grown doing the opposite. So I really like what Chris is doing there and the team at AMP is doing. So let's head out to Massapequa Park to AMP Training and Chris Cooper. All right guys, welcome to Massapequa Park. I am here with Chris Cooper from AMP Training. Chris, AMP, it's our third AMP, but you actually were here, you're the first AMP, really.
I think we're the first. I think
both of those guys.
I think we beat Steve and Lindsay and TJ. Yeah.
Well, we've had them already both on the show, but thanks for doing this, first of all. Let's start out with the basics. How long have you been here?
We've been here a little over 4 years, so about 4.5. Yeah.
4 years. And what's the square footage?
About 2,000 square feet.
2,000. Did you start out with 2,000?
We started out with just this one side, so about 1,000, and then probably about 9 months into that, we needed more space, so we expanded the extra 1,000 into the next storefront.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Now, I know for the most part you started out as doing personal training, one-on-one only. You're still doing that, but you're branching out.
Still primarily one-on-one training and large group trainings like boot camp style.
Yeah.
Boot camp, strength camps. We run a couple of calisthenics classes where it's just solely focusing on body weight.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, primarily personal training.
I saw some cool calisthenics going on a minute ago. It's some serious stuff. We should have got that on film.
They're probably still doing it on the other side.
Great location. This is pretty cool, and I'm gonna get a shot of outside, but right across from a train station.
Yeah.
So it's downtown, beautiful little downtown.
Yeah.
Massapequa Park, right across from the train station. You get any business from them?
We get some good visibility from people on the train or on the platform, which kind of helps. We don't get people coming in off the train.
Yeah.
But visibility-wise, it does help.
Yeah,
it has helped a great deal. Yeah,
very cool. Yeah, that's one thing. I mean, we were at Dr. Jim Alberry's place up in Syosset, and he's in an office park, so he couldn't be in a completely opposite place as you are here. But there's advantages and disadvantages. What about parking here? Because I got a spot out in front. There's 2-hour parking, which is great. Every town should have 2-hour parking.
Parking here is usually it's not a problem. It's either out in front here, or there's a giant lot in the back. With the lot in the back, you just kind of have to be wary of whether it says commuter parking or not.
Okay, yeah.
But really, we haven't had anybody complain about the parking situation, which is a big plus for us.
It's pretty big, especially in Long Island. A lot of times, unless you're in a strip mall type of place, being on the main street, this is pretty cool to have. I'm in the front row, so very cool.
And I mean, the only time it really gets busy on the outside is usually at nights once the bars on the block kind of pick up steam.
Yeah, maybe Thursday night might not be the best time to train here around 5-6 o'clock, right?
Yeah, usually ladies' night kicks off at the bar down the street.
Yeah, there you go. How much staff do you have here?
We have a staff of about 7, so 5 full-time, 2 part-time.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All basically doing one-on-one for the most part.
For the most part, yeah.
Okay, cool. So the member, who's coming in here? What type of person? You get young people, old people, all kinds of people. What do we
Typically, it's been women ranging from 25 to 50, but we have outliers. We have some young athlete population that we just kicked off. We've been running like 8-week camps.
Yeah.
I think we've been doing that for about 1.5 years, 2 years.
Okay.
Usually we limit it to like 6 to 8 kids, usually 11 to 13 years old.
Yeah.
Right when they're hitting that peak of where they can start lifting.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
And then we have ranges up past 50 into people in their 60s and 70s. So.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, people just trying to get in shape.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's go. Let's get a tour. We'll go outside just to show people the train station and how they come in, and we'll get going on.
All right, cool.
Cool. All right, we're out here. Chris. I just want to show everybody the train station. So see, we're on like a main road here. Train station right across the street. So cool.
Good location. All right, so pop inside. Everybody pretty much comes in. They'll pop their stuff in a cubby right here, whether cell phone, keys, bags, whatever they have. If they have to change, we have 2 bathrooms in the back that they can go and change in.
Cool.
From there,
are they checking in or anything? Do you have any kind of? You have your desk here, but is there?
We have our desk here. If they're new, we'll check them in and get them going with all paperwork and stuff like that. But for the most part, if they're kind of like seasoned veterans, they know their routine. Yep. They don't necessarily have to check in.
Yep.
All right.
Cool.
From there, they'll grab a foam roller over here. We have a foam rolling sequence that we put on our whiteboard on the wall.
Oh, so basically this is all for the foam rolling sequence.
So foam rolling right into our warm-up.
Okay, get the warm-up too, okay.
So they'll go through that foam rolling sequence. If it's a one-on-one, they'll just do it on their own. If it's one of our group classes, everybody kind of warms up as a group and they'll go through that.
Yeah.
And then we'll get either the session or the group training going.
Cool. Now, with something like this right here, has this presented any kind of a problem in terms of like, let's say in class, can you have somebody, you know, this is kind of not in the way, but somebody can't use this?
The bag, yeah, we only have a couple people that use the bag.
What about the pull-up bars and the TRX? Because if you have people warming up in here.
Usually people will congregate here warming up. So the TRX is here and the pull-up bar are okay. I mean, we also have TRX is there and the pull-up bar there. And then when we get to the other side, we have a whole custom pull-up rig going on.
Yeah.
So
cool.
We're not short on space for pull-ups.
Yeah. So again, you only had what we're looking at right now originally. This was your starting.
Yeah. And originally, so if you could see the line in the turf here.
Oh yeah.
So this side was all turf, and then this side was all rubber flooring.
Yeah.
And then all of our, like, we had a power cage here.
Yep.
We had like a T-bar row, a GHR. So everything was, all of our equipment this side, turf this side.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
So we squeezed as much as we could into a little tight spot.
But you learn a lot when you're doing that, right?
Oh, you learn how to adapt in a small space really quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Cool. So now the next step for them is it's going to be both rooms, obviously, right?
Yeah.
So give us a rundown of what's going on.
So I mean, after they go through their warm up and their foam rolling sequence, they'll go with the trainer and go through whatever their program is, whether it's starting on this side with some movement-based activities like animal flow, some band walks, just stuff to get going, more like an extended warm-up, or they pop on the other side and they start some of their strength block stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
Chris, one question really just with staff, etc. What about, like you said, animal flow? Do you guys try to provide that education for people? You try to get them to get sort of, is everybody on the same page? Because sometimes that could be a problem.
Well, we had Mike in here to do a certification.
Okay.
Maybe 3 years ago we had him in here.
Wow.
So that was a good chance for everybody to get some good education. But we try to either bring in people here to do education, or we'll send people to other workshops and seminars.
What about programming? Are you doing the programming? You have a program guide, or is there somebody who's everybody's doing their own programming?
We're all doing our own program, but we kind of work off the same basic system with the same the same core principles behind it, same movements and everything, and all the language is the same. So we made sure that if we're programming different things, the language stays pretty similar, just in case there's some overlap where we have to cover clients. But outside that, no real like set structure to how we program.
Yeah.
We kind of let a little bit of freedom with that.
Yep. Okay. Thanks. Let's go see the other room.
Go to the other room.
What's going on? We got more stuff over here.
We got more stuff over here. So we got plyo boxes here. All right. One set of dumbbells here.
Kind of space for your schedule.
We try to maximize as much space, so we have stuff hanging everywhere.
Absolutely, that's the way to go.
Vipers in the back, sled, med balls everywhere.
Yeah.
So really try and cram as much stuff in as we can with.
Absolutely.
optimize our space as much as possible.
Check out what do you got? What's going on in here now?
So this side, we got our staff lift going on right now.
Is that every day? You guys do a staff lift?
Everybody's depending on the schedule with everybody's clients, but for the most part, we're usually training in and around the same time.
Cool.
Yeah. So pop on this side. So we got the one power rack here.
Yeah.
This is the rack we started with that was all the way in the front that's taking up all the room.
Nice.
And like I said, custom pull up rack. Like I said, not short on space for pull-ups.
Yeah, this is an awesome, like, interesting room here. What's going on with the board over here?
So a couple of power lifters and then some of our trainers and a couple of clients putting up their PRs.
Nice. Awesome. We'll squeeze by.
We'll squeeze by them.
So again, another. I mean, did you have this specially made?
Yeah, so we had this made just for our space.
Yep.
To do pull-ups, but to do our calisthenics classes.
Yeah.
Which you sadly missed them doing before.
Yeah, absolutely. Man. Some cool stuff going on.
Another rack behind you. Again, trying to optimize as much space.
Yeah.
Tuck the GHR in the back.
Yeah. And then, we got some kegs in here. What's going
Kegs
on?
for some strongman stuff.
Nice.
And then deadlift platform to do our deadlift so we don't beat up the floor too much.
Plenty of videos of you on this actually posting on social media. Some of this.
Yeah.
What's going on right here?
So in here is all of our staff. They put all their stuff in here.
Okay, cool.
A lot of storage, whether it's stuff just for cleaning wise or just our bags.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, you got to make use of everything you can.
Yeah, pretty much make use of every inch.
Cool. So obviously you guys are, using whatever space you can in here. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty much.
And it's probably tough for new trainers to come in and get a feel for the flow.
Yeah, I mean we've brought some people on as interns and as like new hires, like kind of test them out and give them like a month. Only like a month grace period to work their way in.
Yeah.
And at the end of the month, it's either works out or it doesn't. And I mean, so far it's been tough to crack our little knit family of trainers that we've had. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go sit down and we'll talk some shop.
All right, cool.
All right, cool, Chris. Let's start out with like maybe your biggest challenge since you guys have been in here. Obviously, you've been growing. You started out on this side, you got the next side. What really has been the biggest challenge though for you guys?
So one of the challenges has been definitely optimizing the space that we have.
Yeah.
And working side by side in such close quarters. Other than that, I mean, just getting people in the door is probably the biggest challenge because in the area there's probably 2 or 3 CrossFit gyms, there's 2 big box gyms, and 1 other studio that's similar to us but not really.
Yeah.
So I mean, outside of that, that's probably the biggest challenge.
What are some things that you're doing to try to get people inside here?
We do a lot of like content. So we put out a lot of articles and stuff. Usually once a week, if not 2 times a month, 3 times a month, just to stay consistent and put out some quality information.
Yeah.
So even if people aren't coming in the gym, they're still popping on our blog, popping on our Facebook, and trying to learn something that they can take and do on their own, even if they're not necessarily coming to see us.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's one thing. We've been partnering with a couple of local organizations. We just partnered with Heroes Movement, which works with veterans.
Yep.
So that we're hoping that partnership brings in some veterans in and gets an entirely different population for us.
As well as families, like, one person to come in off, one veteran to come in, he's having a great experience.
Yeah.
And obviously Mike McKay is doing a great job with that. We're going to have him on the Strength Coach podcast actually to talk more about that. What are some other, like just with location challenges, has there been any in terms of, being right here in terms of like the train station and right in downtown?
Location-wise, it hasn't really been too much of a challenge. Mm-hmm. It's actually been a little bit of a benefit for us.
Yeah.
The village is pretty tight-knit, and a couple of weeks ago they had a street fair, so this street here and then Park Boulevard over there, they shut it down. They have vendors and everything. So
did you guys get a booth?
We always get a booth every year.
Cool.
A couple years we've done demonstrations. We did a strongman and a calisthenics demonstration one year that drew a lot of people over.
Yeah.
We did a little bit of a boot camp for our clients outside on the street.
Yeah.
That got some people over. So it's definitely a tight-knit village, and everybody is pretty close and everybody knows each other.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what we try to translate in here, where everybody knows each other and it kind of spreads throughout Massapequa Park.
Yeah, absolutely. Very cool. I want to go back to just kind of like the staff thing. It's a lot of staff for a small place, right?
Yeah.
How do you manage the schedule with that? Because, I mean, how many people can you have in here at once?
We can manage up to all 7 people with a client at one time. It actually works its way out, and we work well together.
Yeah.
If some people are on like a rack on the other side and somebody else needs to jump in, it's very easily just jump in and go with that. So we kind of have a good flow, even if we're really crazy busy. Like tomorrow's Friday, so Friday morning from like 7 o'clock until 10 o'clock, it's packed, and all the trainers have at least one. Some of us have 2 clients going at the same time, doing like a semi-private kind of dual training session going on. So it can get tight, but I think we kind of make it work. Yeah,
absolutely. Again, this was the one side that you had.
Yeah.
You said like 6 months in, you guys said we gotta get bigger.
Yeah, we jumped. We started out with maybe 30 or 40 clients when we first opened.
Yeah.
It was the end of April when we first opened.
At the time.
4.
4. Okay.
Yeah, and then from that, like beginning of May of that year to probably November, we realized like we need more space.
Yeah.
So like all of December, it was negotiations with the landlord, negotiations with the taxi stand, which was next door.
Okay, so
trying to get them.
That was a taxi stand?
That was a taxi stand. So we had to negotiate with the taxi company. We had to negotiate with our landlord to move them into the empty spot next to it, and then figure out who was going to pay for their build out.
Yeah.
Which ended up falling partly on us because we're moving them over.
Worth it?
Well worth it, yeah.
Okay.
Oh
there
yeah,
you go.
definitely well worth it.
Yeah. Sometimes. What about expansions for the future? But before we go on that, you're doing a lot of one-on-one. You're jumping a little into semi-private because even you said to me, you just had 3 clients in an hour and a half. There's no way to have 3 clients in an hour and a half without them overlapping.
Yeah.
So is that something that you're looking into? Maybe doing 2 or 3 people within that time? I mean, every gym we go to, obviously, you're the first one that's probably the second one that's predominantly personal one-on-one training.
Yeah.
And if there's a market for it, there's a market for it. I think when I first met you, you were looking for a trainer. You have a new trainer in here, so like you're still growing. So are you thinking about going into semi-private at all?
Thinking about it, I think the logistics of it are still in play in terms of staff, in terms of payroll, in terms of how to convey that to the clients to get them on board with it.
Yeah.
Which for some people it won't be a big deal. For others it might take a little convincing, and for some they might not want to do it and they might just stay with the one-on-one.
Yeah.
It's definitely something we'll look into and explore and see what the possibilities are there.
And I think people get confused a lot in terms of when we hear about, you should be doing semi-private. It doesn't mean abandon the one-on-one.
No,
because
not at all.
everybody. Because when I did the same thing, and I had golfers, and I had these people that were just so used to the one-on-one, they didn't want to switch over, and they didn't have to, and so.
I think it's a matter of translating the value of it.
Yeah.
From going one-on-one to semi-private. I think it looks like you're going from one-on-one to semi-private. Semi-private might not be as customized or as personalized.
Yeah.
Which it doesn't have to be. It can still be an individualized program.
Yeah, sure.
But just in a smaller group setting.
Yeah. Absolutely. So like with the expansion, like thoughts, because obviously we all think, anybody that has a gym or any business is always thinking, how do we get bigger? The problem with that is then you're gonna have to move from this location, which is it is a great location.
It is a prime location in terms of visibility, yeah.
Unless you talk to the taxi stand and get them out
again, which I don't think is a possibility because there's no other open storefronts on the strip.
Yeah.
Not yet, at least.
And they're across from the train station. They're not going.
They're not going anywhere. Yeah.
What's the thought process behind that? When you guys think, if we need to get bigger, what would you be looking for in terms of that?
I think at this point we'd have to look for warehouse space.
Yeah.
Something that makes sense monetarily. Unfortunately, in this area, there's not a lot of warehouse space.
Yeah.
So that's one thing we'd have to explore, or just finding a space that's slightly bigger where we can pay similar rent.
Yeah.
But that's been the biggest challenge. If we want to expand, and we've had discussions on it, like very vague, very brief discussions on doing some sort of expansion, and we've looked around and there's really nothing that fits what we need or fits what we want.
Yeah.
Like the one place that we saw was probably 8,000 square feet, and that's a big jump to go from 2,000 to 8,000.
Yeah, it's big.
Like we don't have the equipment, but we don't have the clientele to cover 8,000 square feet. So I think 4 to 6 we could probably cover, but nothing's popped up yet. So for now, we're pretty comfortable here, and we're not busting at the seams yet.
Yeah.
At a certain, right now it's pretty quiet, so we're not busting at the seams with clientele coming into train where we need expansion because we have no time. But our prime time areas are getting a little filled, so like we said, with the semi-privates, that might be some spot where we put a little semi-private in there in like prime time hours in the morning, and a little bit at night.
Yeah. Well, you're not busy now. I mean, it's right now. It's 2 o'clock.
It's 2 o'clock. So,
I mean, the fact that you had 3 people from 12 to 1:30 is pretty impressive. I never had anybody in the middle of the day. So let's just talk a little bit about some of the things for you in terms of, beside the fact that I know you wish you had taken more space right away because you did it so quickly. You couldn't here, but maybe.
Well, even when we started, we couldn't. There was us.
Really?
So we took this spot. The taxi stand was next to it, and then there was a construction company working on the railroad next to that. So it wasn't even a possibility to start big.
Yeah. Would you have wanted to look for a bigger space though originally? Like when looking back, would you say, "Damn, we should have went for like $3,000, 3,000 square feet, and grown into it a little bit"?
You know what? I was pretty happy with the choice we made.
Yeah.
Prime location, and we were able to grow as our clientele base growed. We were allowed to expand our physical space.
Yep.
So it was actually a more organic progression than anything.
Yep. Very cool. Anything you do, like, kind of, what's your do-over here? Anything?
I think some of the do-overs, more of the systemizing of getting people in. So when people come in for consultations and stuff like that, and people try to get on board, systemizing that, which we've done since we've opened and gotten that in place. I think that I would have done earlier.
Yeah.
I think tracking some of our numbers I would have done a lot earlier. It's something like the first 6 months or so we weren't tracking new clients coming in, clients leaving, stuff like that. We weren't really taking a hard look at numbers.
Yeah.
So I would do that over again.
I'm not sure anybody does that in the beginning, though. So
it's probably the last thing on your mind when you first start.
Yeah.
But again, the more I read on business stuff, the more that was definitely something you needed to do.
Sure.
And it kind of showed the health of the business. Which is something that I'm pretty diligent on now.
Yeah, and it helps you decide, what directions you can go, and even from marketing perspective or times a year, staffing, how many people you need. So it is. The numbers are really so important. Very cool. Well, we really appreciate you doing this. And one thing that for me was when I originally looked at the space, I said, "Oh man, this is so different from some of these bigger sports performance, right?"
You were at Billy Rahm's place in Farmingdale. You got like 11,000 square feet.
Mike Boyles and Derek Cressy. But in general, I think we can learn from every single space. Because anybody who has a business or a gym, we can learn from. Because there's a way that we progress through from day one to day whatever.
Yeah.
And also I think everybody has this mindset of the way things always should be. You're not doing only you're doing a lot of personal training here in the
which
industry
is
right
different
now.
than anybody else.
It really is, and you're doing great, and you're expanding and you're growing. So I think there's something to always be learned, to kind of keep that open mind as to what's out there. And you have a lot of contact with a lot of people through Strength Faction, and you're in contact with, you have a lot of friends all over the country now. See the way they're doing it. And with things like Strength Coach TV as well, we can see how other people are doing it. Doesn't mean we always have to follow the way they're doing it.
I think it just gives more ideas to play with different things.
Yeah, cool. So thanks for doing this, man.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it.
Thanks for coming by.